Hello everyone, and welcome to Chapter 6 of my 0% low turn count playthrough of a Vestrian Tale. Chapter 6 is one of my favorite maps in the game, presentation-wise. It has a very distinct flavor to it, very much capped off by its unusual win condition. We don't need to kill a boss or seize a throne to claim victory in Chapter 6. What we do need to do is open a door. This doesn't make a whole lot of sense if you haven't played a Vestrian Tale, so I'll give you a quick rundown of the story for this chapter here in a second, but before that, we are actually going to be seeing our first promotion of the run. Unsurprisingly, that is going to be Alva. Even though she doesn't do a whole lot in this map itself, there's no real reason to delay the promotion, and, you know, I just want to show how awesome she is. Look at that, 11 strength. That is going to carry her for the rest of the game. She also gets axes, which is kind of neat in some defensive use cases, but on to why exactly our main opponent in this map is a door. The story is Zeke and the gang are chasing down an evil sorcerer who took our shit, and in order to find out where he went, we're actually going to a spellbook writer, a professional spellbook writer, very famous and talented, and we think they might be working together. Turns out Zeke's guess is correct, but the sorcerer is blackmailing the spellbook writer, and so while the spellbook writer doesn't like the sorcerer, he doesn't believe that we are capable of defeating him, so we need to prove our worth by opening the door to his office and having a polite conversation with him once we get there. The party is split into two sections. The door and the writer associated with it are in the top right, so the left side gang here is mostly just hunting down side objectives. We're gonna grab a rapier here, which is kind of useful when we can't use the armor slayer, and we're going to be using frontline Ginepro. One very small but neat thing that using Ginepro gets me is Ginepro is the only unit in the game frailer than Zeke, so in cases where I need to spread out enemy fire, I can use Ginepro to take one hit that would otherwise be directed towards my lord. And I'm going to be using that here. We do need Irene to be promoted, or to be at level 10 by the end of this map, so she's whipping out the Devil's Sword for, I believe, the final time in the run to boost her EXP gain to get her down that last stretch. The main playmakers of this run, of this chapter, are a little unusual because they are Yahashua and Angelo. Yahashua is fairly straightforward. If you saw, I picked out the rescue staff during preps, but Angelo, not quite so much. He does have a personal longbow with really high might, so that's why I'm using him to kind of back up Yahashua, reduce his chance of death at least a little bit, and just clear the path for my rescue staffer to get someone to open that door. Here in enemy phase, because of Ginepro diverting that soldier, Zeke is not in any danger. Yahashua's in a little bit of danger. He needs to dodge, I think, one attack, but overall, not a horrible enemy phase. If you saw, there is actually a big general boss guarding the door that we need to open, so it does kind of seem like this is a kill boss / seize map. We're gonna grab the lucky coin here as the main loot from this map, but we actually have a way to completely avoid dealing with that boss, and here you're going to see just how awesome the global rescue staff is, because even though Ginepro is the farthest unit away, we can just pick him right up, and by using the unlock staff we grabbed during our escape from prison, we can just slip right by this general and open the door to complete Chapter 6 in 2 turns. Ginepro hits B staves, so I have his rescue rank already a chapter before I need it, and Zeke gets his story promotion at the end of this map. It's pretty decent. Well, it's not really that decent. He's a little too far gone in 0% growths. He gets to use dark magic, and he gets a personal weapon that we will unfortunately never use. But we do get a pretty radical pre-promote at the end of this map, and you'll get to see him during our clear of Chapter 7. Chapter 6 and 7, I linked them not only because both of them are 2 turns, but also both of them are less kill boss and more have a polite conversation with boss. This time, we're trying to have a polite conversation with this cop that's mad at us for escaping prison, and we want her to realize that we have a common enemy in that sorcerer. There are 2 people that can reason with her, either Zeke or Iblis. Iblis has more important things to do, so Zeke shall be our negotiator of choice. We get the final 2 promotions of the game at the start of this map, Helena and Irene. Irene, I mentioned it last map, she's going to have some important stuff to do that she cannot do with 7 move. Helena is the least necessary promotion of the 3, but Chapter 7 has a noticeable spike in enemy quality, and we really want a whole lot of firepower right off the gate, and Helena, especially with a weapon she's going to pick up very soon, is one of our best units for firepower. The lucky coin we picked up last map, I didn't explain it immediately, but what it does is when you hold it, it gives you +1 movement. It's going to be very important for the main path of this clear. Right now it's on Iblis, so he has 7 movement rather than his normal 6, and we can trade it around as needed. As I said, there are a lot of very dangerous enemies, so we're using our best, like Sanzang, who I believe is making his last appearance, as well as Carmela. I am going to have a very, very high chance of death come turn 1 enemy phase with Zeke, who needs to be within talk range of the boss, so I want to clear out this opening area as much as I can. You saw Zeke give a motivational speech to Helena, and apparently he was so good at it that she got a brave bow. Turns her into an absolute killing machine, and, you know, it's nice practice for Zeke, who needs to charm his way into turning the cop blue. We're clearing out a launching pad for our 2 flyers and Iblis right here. The great bow, once again, coming in very useful. And there is our newest pre-promote, Escarra. Enough said, right? He can pull 90 crit on just about any enemy, and that's pretty nice. We're going to hand off the lucky coin to Alyssa, so now she has the +1 movement. And she's going to hand it to Zeke. And to maximize his chance of survival, I put him on the forest here. I think this is the best move, but it does put him in range of a stationary warrior who can combine with anyone else for a 2-shot. In fact, any 2 enemies can combine to kill Zeke, so of the 6 enemies that are going to target him, he needs to dodge 5 of them. They're all below 50, but because this is a 1RN game, that doesn't... that's not quite the boon you might expect it to be. I did give Alyssa her personal Axe Reaver for this enemy phase, and you might think that's to entice some enemies to go for her, to maybe split up the enemy forces like I was explaining last time, but it's actually the opposite. If enemies went for both Alyssa and Zeke, the 2 of them would just be completely sectioned off from the boss, so they all need to target Zeke. I made sure of it, and thankfully he managed to dodge 5 times, so we are prepped and ready for a 2-turn. But here is a very important side objective. The reason we promoted Irene is so she can zip across the map in 1 turn and grab the Hamern staff. No prizes for guessing what that's going on. The other side objective, the map's pretty small, so it's not too hard to get, but hitting this sandbar right here, we can pay a shoe shiner to shine our shoes, and if she does a good job, we get celerity. That's going on Alva. The Armor Slayer makes its first appearance by deleting the quote-unquote real boss of the map, which is an Armor Knight, getting in the way of our polite conversation, so we're just going to have a nice chat, steal a Sunblade, and complete Chapter 7 in 2 turns. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you for Chapter 8.